Happy Pokemon Day, everyone. I'm sure you're thinking, why sales video out today? Well, that's because I am working on the Pokemon review in the background, so we've got this one out a bit early. Here's our winning comment from the last sales video. Ping us an email and we'll get you your free game. Remember, we've still got our 10% discount off our website where you can buy Eshop vouchers. We're no longer tying our giveaway to having purchased something on the website because it's a bit dodgy, isn't it? So all you need to do is leave your normal comments down below, and not only will you be in for the running of a free game each week on our sales series, but we'll also enter you into that giveaway for one of 5 £50 vouchers to spend on the eShop. As with last week, we've got a couple of physical ones in here as well, as that seemed to go down quite nicely, and a few little gems and some that you should potentially avoid. What's on sale? Well, let's find out. The first physical pickup then is Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom Prince's Edition, which is currently 40% off at Amazon here in the UK, and it's also 40% off over in the US and other regions. We've got a full review of this one up on the channel if you're interested in checking that one out, but this time around you join the young King Evan as he sets out on his epic quest to found a new kingdom. That is quite literally taken straight off the blurb, but my favourite feature when playing through this one was how you actually have to build up almost like a strategy from a top-down perspective your kingdom. You'll add in different buildings and areas that you can then attend, and although there were a few little quirky performance issues in certain areas like the overworld map, it still translates quite nicely to the Switch. I'll pop a link to that one in the top pinned comment if you want to go check that out, but it also includes the DLCs as well as the Prince's Equipment Pack and a load of new missions.
Now you know you're making your way up the YouTubing ladder when you are offered the chance to make a Raid Shadow Legends video, and it is indeed Raid that have kindly sponsored today's video. This is of course one of the best known mobile games of all time. It has a huge number of champions, over 600 now, and all of these champions come from unique factions and have their own history and lore. You can download Raid for yourself to your mobile phone or PC using the links in this video's description. Raid Shadow Legends is of course a turn-based RPG, and their newest boss has just been released for you to take on, and it is the Hydra. This behemoth has 6 heads to slay, each its own boss battle really, and a couple of examples include the Head of Suffering, who kindly shares some of the damage it takes with you, what an old softie, and you'll need to bring champions capable of dealing with that Pain Link debuff in order to be victorious here. There's also the Head of Wrath. Hit this thing 15 times and it will gain the Vengeance buff, meaning it will hit 3 times harder than usual. Make sure you hit him hard and get the job done before his Vengeance kicks in. I do like the way that you'll need to consider the champions needed for specific boss battles, ensuring that they have the skills necessary to get you through, and it sounds like they'll be needed once more if you're ever going to defeat this newest enemy. Also new to Raid this month, well, along with a bunch of new champions, there is the brand new Faction Wars Crypt for the Shadowkin faction, so fans of that faction will be able to dive in there and see what it's all about. On top of that, there are New Year events and tournaments, including a special faction event where you will be able to get yourself one of Raid's newest legendary champions. If you are new to it all, then now is a great time to get started, as I mentioned earlier, you can use the link in the description to this video or scan the QR code shown to get a free starter pack worth almost $30. This includes a free champion in Tyrell, 200k in silver, 1 energy refill, 1 XP boost and an ancient shard so that you can summon champions as soon as you begin, and all of this treasure will be waiting for you here. These rewards are available for the next 30 days only for new players.
The next physical pickup then, and it's actually physical and digital in the US, is Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville, the complete edition. At the moment this is 43% off in the UK at Argos and Amazon, taking it down to £19.99. Over in the US, Canadian and Mexican regions, you can get it for 63% off. That's $14.79 or your regional equivalent. This is an excellent online shooter. It's probably the best or one of the best shooters for multiplayer that we have on the Nintendo Switch. That might sound ridiculous, but it's brilliant. Each of the different plants or zombies has their own characteristics, weapons and gear. You can change that out, but it's actually just that core online play. It actually doesn't feel anything like a traditional Plants vs Zombies game. You've got gyroscopic aiming. There's also a co-op mode where you can play within the town area and do different quests and things. It has no right to be as addictive as it is, but it is very, very good. This one's 6.4 gigs, and the sale, if you're in the US regions, ends on February the 3rd. As you'll know if you've watched the channel we do spend a lot of time in the comments just going through, responding and chatting to you lot. It's very important to us to have a bit of a community, and that's why I have my piece of paper where I write down where someone's like, hey, I missed out on this game, can you let me know next time it goes on sale? And we have got Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen, which is currently down to $14.99, that's 50% off, and we've had it a lot on here, but there was a guy in the last video or the one before and he was like, can you let me know? So here I am letting you know it's a very good game, and hopefully you can finally get it at that reduced price. That one is only on sale in the US regions, so if you want to buy it from the US, you're going to have to get yourself some Eshop vouchers with the US currency and then buy it using a store that's very easy to set up on your Switch. Remember, you can buy those vouchers on our website if you want to, saving 10% with code SwitchUp. You may need to use a VPN though. VPN for the win. Dragon's Dogma is a very fun action RPG from Capcom. I think a lot of us are really hoping we see a sequel maybe sometime in the near future. A very good game that didn't get a huge amount of recognition and seen some improvements since launch is Minecraft Dungeons. Now the Ultimate Edition at the moment is 25% off. This takes it down to £25.11 or your regional equivalent, and that's the cheapest it's ever been. This version includes all 6 DLCs: Jungle Awakens, Creeping Winter, Howling Peaks, Flames of the Nether, Hidden Depths, and Echoing Void. And it's a really good one to play with your kids, but that doesn't make it a kids game. It's a pretty standard action RPG, but I really enjoyed it. It's another one where we've kind of got a review of this, a performance review on the channel if you want to check it out and see a little bit more about how the game mechanics work, but it's not so intimidating that younger players can't enjoy it. This sale goes on until February the 7th, so you've got a bit of time, and it's a 6.9GB download. Another one that's on a physical sale in the UK is Assassin's Creed The Rebel Collection. That's 60% off, taking it down to £15.95 over on Amazon. But if you're in the US, you can pick it up digitally for cheaper. It's $14.79. Now that being said, for the difference of a couple of quid, owning it physically seems to be the way to go, but you won't find nearly that kind of discount over in the US regions for the physical copy. Still, you can get it pretty cheap at places like GameStop. I'm sure you know by now the Rebel Collection includes the base Black Flag game as well as Assassin's Creed Rogue, and they're 2 separate, complete, entire games. Just jump on the jackdaw, get the sea shanties on the go, and just chill out. Great game. Absolutely great. It has a download size of 19.02 gigs, so make sure you've got space, and it's another one where we have a more extensive review if you'd like to check it out. Quite nice, isn't it, that we're getting the Ezio Auditore collection coming to the Switch? I think a lot of us wanted to see that, so yeah, happy days. Next up, and US only, we've got Immortals Fenyx Rising, but it's the Gold Edition, which rarely goes on sale. This is 75% off. It's usually $100, but it's down to $24.99. If for whatever reason you've not played these, or maybe you were put off by the similarities to Breath of the Wild, just check out all the critical praise they've received. They're very fun games. Now there are a few elements that some players really enjoy and others don't. Some of the narrative elements, you either love them or you hate them. But I thought they were great. I thought the Greek mythology was told well, and I thought there were enough side activities. Now, invariably, there are some people that like it and some that don't, but if you like the newer Assassin's Creed combat system, you'll find yourself feeling quite at home here. So this version obviously includes the Immortals Fenyx Rising base game, the Season Pass, a New God DLC, Myths of the Eastern Realm DLC, and the Lost Gods as well. That's absolutely tons of content to sink your teeth into, and it's just a really fun game. It's 25.8 gigs though, so that'll be the only little stinger. This one's on sale until February the 10th. One of my hidden gems this week is Vigil the Longest Night. This is available in all regions, and it launched with a lot of performance problems. It's seen a number of patches, and it's actually a really nice little adventure action, a bit of a Souls-like. If you're familiar with Salt and Sanctuary, which is amazing by the way, this is similar to that game. There are 4 different weapon types, and obviously you'll find lots of each one, and they control very differently. Now, one thing I'm a bit sick of is the overuse of Lovecraftian mythos in games. What is it with Lovecraftian? I like it, but once it's used a billion times, I do start to get a bit fatigued by it. And this is another one where it's a fusion of Lovecraftian prose and Taiwanese culture, so at least it's a slight different mix from what we used to. There are some nice boss fights here. I did enjoy the music. I thought the music was excellent actually, and it is nice that there's multiple endings to find. This sale goes on in both regions. It's 40% off until February the 3rd, and it has a download size of 5.2 gigs.
Here for these people. The creatures of darkness come for you. They prey on thine.
Now, Glen reviewed Skully for us on the channel, and by all accounts it was a reasonably enjoyable little platform adventure. It's all set on a remote island where a skull washes up on the shore and is reawakened by the enigmatic deity. This reanimated skull, aptly named Skully, is summoned to intervene in a war between the deity's 3 siblings. There are 18 different levels to work your way through and 7 different ecosystems, but by all accounts, according to Glen at least, it was actually quite enjoyable. Not an amazing game, but definitely a nice little sale pickup, especially at this price. Now, it has a download of 3.7 gigs, and that sale goes on until February the 2nd, but do check out his full review. I clearly don't know that much about it. He knows way more, and he said it's worth sticking on the list. From one Lovecraftian to the other, we've got the Sinking City Deluxe Edition here in the UK. It's 80% off. That's £11.69. Now, yet another game we've reviewed on the channel, and it was a bit of a disappointment, to be honest, for what we were expecting. It wasn't that it was a bad game, it just doesn't quite live up to the potential that is here. It's an investigatory game set within this, wait for it, Lovecraftian universe with a touch of horror. I don't believe it. But it's an open world investigation, and there are some really clever moments. This one includes all 3 of the DLC side quests, so it's certainly the way to go if you're a fan of games like Call of Cthulhu, Vampire. It has that same foreboding atmosphere. There's lots of different 1920s inspired weapons, and the thing that I think is what tips it over the edge into a nice sales pickup is some of the replayability elements. So each of the cases can actually be solved in a variety of different ways, and that also changes the endings. There are numerous endings based on the choices that you've made along the way. I always enjoy that. Makes it feel like my decisions aren't just arbitrary, get me from point A to B. This has a download size of 8.6 gigs, but in the US you can pick this one up, just the base version, at 80% off. Finally then, and flip-flopping its way from the UK to the US side, we've got Lost in Random, which is currently 50% off. That's the lowest it's ever been, and that takes it down to $14.99 or your regional equivalent. This is a very cool little Alice in Wonderland style gothic adventure where you literally use your dice in combat in ways you never thought possible. The kingdom is divided into 6 different shadowy realms. It was written by an author who worked on both Adventure Time and Marvel Comics, and you play as a penniless girl with her companion Dicey, who is a strange living dice, and according to one of our writers, Asdin, it's just got that lovely feeling of escapism that you only find in certain adventure games. So yeah, definitely worth picking up at this reduced price. I believe you'll find a full review of it over on his channel, so I'll pop a link to that as well in the description. Wow, we've got 2 of the greatest, worst games ever on sale at the moment that you should avoid. But at these prices, man, I mean, don't do it. But they are cheap. First, you've got Beast Quest, which is like 90% off. And this game is so bad. It's 90% off in price, but it's 100% off in fun. It's so janky. You will rock up at the first town and they're like, right, young squire, please can you fetch me 10 eggs? And you'll stare at this guy and be like, are you serious? And he is serious. And then the next guy is serious about you collecting 10 chickens. And then the next one, 10 sticks. And so on and so forth until you're questioning your own sanity. The combat is ultra jank. We're not talking base level jankiness. We are talking ultra janky. And you're half expecting him to swing his sword and his pants come down. Not a good game. Don't buy it. It is cheap though, isn't it? Sorry, I shouldn't. Someone's going to actually buy it and then cry. And the other absolutely legendary bad game is Troll and I. Troll and I is only 70% off. It's $2.99 or your regional equivalent, and it holds a glorious Metacritic score of 4.8. I mean 4.8. It's only $2.99. It's terrible. It's so bad. It's so clunky. The performance is a joke. But I will say that Glen's actually completed this one, and he didn't hate it. I hated it, but he didn't. So make of that what you will. I mean, it didn't change the fact that it was terrible, but he just didn't hate it. It didn't make him physically unwell. Well, it might have done actually, but I digress. So that's it for this week. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, leave those normal comments down below. I do like reading them. I do like responding to as many as I can. And yeah, hope you enjoy the channel. Thanks to our patrons. Again, new ones have joined. You're incredible. Save 10% over at our website with code SwitchUp until the end of the month. And wasn't it comical to see Glen do a Raid Shadow Legends advert? Amazing. He was like, I've never played Raid Shadow Legends. What is it? It's a new game. You'll like it. There you go. Thanks to those guys for sponsoring this episode. For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!